Over the years, I've used a couple of different hood pins or hood latches for cars that I've built for customers or myself. Obviously, I've used the stock hood latch, but I've also used like the pretty generic hood pins that have just the clip that go through them. I've used the Arrow Catch hood pins on my drift car, which I really love those. But the thing that I found is they're kind of a larger footprint. But for this car, which is my Project Creampuff AE86 Restomod, I wanted something that's a little more minimalistic in design. So I've decided to go with Quik Latch hood pins on this car. I've used Quik Latches for bumpers and other kinds of aero and body panels on my drift car, which is great because they're really easy to remove and really easy to install. They hold up really, really well to abuse, and honestly, they're really strong for what they are. And the ones that I've used are quite a bit smaller than their hood pin. I love Quik Latch because how simple the design is. Quik Latch is so simple because it's just a ball and socket. You've got your ball on the end of your pin, and then you latch it down. It's just a nice simple design, and to release it, you push the button. Let's go ahead and get started installing these on the car. I've already marked out the locations to drill a hole so the pins come out. I chose locations that I knew were going to be pretty strong. I didn't want them too close to either end or to the middle, and I wanted them between a couple of mounting points. So we've got a bolt here and a bolt here that hold this upper radiator support on, and there's a little bit of a shape to it, so that's going to give it some strength. I've marked the same spot on the other side. I want it to be symmetrical. I've got it marked out, and now I'm going to go ahead and center punch it and drill it. Now, when you're choosing a location, something that's important to keep in mind is you are going to have to fit a wrench or a socket on the bottom side to tighten the nut on the pin. Just going to use a spring-loaded center punch here and mark the middle where we're going to drill at. We'll start by drilling an 1/8 inch pilot hole. Then we'll continue stepping up to a 3/8 because that's the size for the hood pin. Double check our fitment. That should be perfect. Then we go ahead and repeat the same process for the other side. Ideally on the bottom side, you should use a washer and a nut. But just because of how the AE86 is, I'm not going to be able to do that. What I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to get the washer set up here on the top side at least, and then drop that through, and we'll put the other nut down on the bottom side. And to figure out where to drill on the hood, I just take a little dab of grease, put that on top of it, and I close the hood. And raise the hood again. And then if you look closely on the hood, you can see right there, there's my dab of grease, so I know that's where I'm gonna have to drill at. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that same center punch from earlier. There we go. We drill our pilot hole. And luckily, fiberglass is easy. Ooh. If we drilled it right, we'll be able to drop the hood down and it'll go right through that hole. Perfect. And then you go ahead and repeat that process. Which this is where it gets a little tricky because you can't really see in this hole and you're just kinda hoping you get it lined up. And now right there you can see my pilot hole. Normally you'd use an actual hole saw for this bit, but I don't have the right size hole saw. I'm gonna use one of these step drill bits to drill this out to 1 1/4 inch. I always like to put down a little bit of painter's tape when I'm doing this. It kind of helps the edges of the paint peel up on the car. So it's just a habit I've gotten into when I'm gonna be drilling into something. This is what I do. On the back side, you're gonna need to cut this out quite a bit larger. So that way you can get your tools in here to tighten the hood latch. And now we do our little test fit here. It fits. Perfect. The nut to hold the hood pin is huge. And then from there, you just repeat the process for the other side. Ta-da! And there you go. There's your Quik Latch hood pins installed on your car. My initial impressions are these are pretty good, although I'm a little worried about the noise, because they do move a little bit. I think that's part of the spring-loaded ball and socket mechanism. These do squeak. I might try and grease them up a little bit, or I might try adjusting some of the lengths of the rods just to try and get it all, I guess, dialed in a little better. But other than that, I'm really stoked on this. I love the way they look. I love how easy they were to install. So much more straightforward and quick than, say, like the Aero Catch hood pins. If you got any questions, put in the comments below. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Thanks, guys.